This week we're talking about uncomfortable freelance virtual assistant truths. There are some uncomfortable things that we have to talk about. I, like many other people, like to preach about things like, only build a business with clients you love, only take on work with clients you like, charge your highest rates and highest, worth, because that's what clients are paying for. I have some uncomfortable truths for people who are starting. And the fact of the matter is, when you are new to virtual assistants, as in you have little to no experience and you have 0 clients and you're not sure where to start, the fact of the matter is you pretty much do need to say yes to clients, because you need money and you need experience and you need to start to learn if you like a certain industry or if you like a certain type of work or task. You need to know those things. And the only way you can learn those things about yourself and hone your business is if you get to work. So it stinks, because if you've watched my videos before, you've definitely heard me say things like, only build a business with clients you love. And that is true. But there is a step before that. And I'm here to tell you, uncomfortable truth number 1, you pretty much have to say yes to everybody. There are exceptions always. Like if you are approached by a client who asks you for something that's way out of your scope, you don't know how to do something, you don't care to learn it, then you might have to say, thanks for thinking of me. No, thank you. I can refer you to somebody else. But when I first started my business, I didn't know who I liked to work with. I didn't know who my ideal client was yet. I didn't even know what services or niche I might want to go into. And so what I ended up doing is I said yes to absolutely everyone. And eventually, I had 18 clients that I had said yes to. And it was only at that time that I realized I had too many, or I started to realize things like there's certain personality types I don't like to work with. Micromanagers were first to go. I realized that there were certain industries I did or did not enjoy. For example, I thought when I first started that entrepreneurs or startups, I thought it sounded cool. I thought I would be into that. Turns out I do not like to work with startup founders, because to no fault of their own, a lot of things change quickly in startups, and they usually have pretty small skeleton crews, meaning the least amount of people to help them build a product or build a business. So you as a VA might get hired to do assistance, but all of a sudden you find yourself wearing 10 more hats, and then next thing you know, you're their accountant. So it's not my cup of tea. So, but you don't know that until you try. So uncomfortable freelancing truth number 1, you probably are going to have to say a lot of yeses before you start saying a lot of nos. Uncomfortable freelance truth number 2 is you probably right out of the gate won't get to charge as high of a rate as you want to. I typically say that, North American freelance virtual assistants charge anywhere from $20 to $35 an hour, depending on your experience or your expertise. But when you're starting, you might find that in order to remain competitive with other new virtual assistants, you might need to charge $15 an hour. You might start at $20 an hour, which is the low end of my recommendation. But that is definitely an uncomfortable truth, because a lot of literature and people will tell you to charge your worth. And while I agree, if you don't have work to back you up on that, if you don't have relevant, even corporate experience, if you don't have any clients to back up what you're saying, no referrals, no references, then you might need to start with a new client at a $20 an hour rate. Now, of those 2 uncomfortable truths, the best thing is that your business is not set in stone. Things change. So as you get your footing, as you start to learn your craft, as you start to get better at the work and faster at the work that you're doing, then it is absolutely time to have a conversation with clients about where you started, what they hired you for, what you're actually doing for them now. Having a conversation where you can raise those rates incrementally. Maybe you go from $20 to $25 an hour. Maybe you go from $25 to $30. But raising incrementally is a thing that you can do eventually. It doesn't make sense to start at $35 right off the bat if you are in a competitive, if you want to remain a competitive virtual assistant. If you and 10 other VAs were going head to head and you're the only one without client experience, it's going to be hard to justify the $35 hour rate versus somebody who's been doing it for 10 years and has some references to back up their word. So just 2 quick uncomfortable truths to keep in mind. But again, your business is not set in stone. So I do want you to have in the back of your mind that as you're saying yes to clients, as you're starting at perhaps a lower rate than you hope to, keep in mind that things change. You will get better. You will get a very quick sense for whether you like working with a particular person or niche or industry, and write them down. Make sure you're keeping notes about what you're learning, what you like, what you don't like, because those are the ways that you can actually hone your business to build it into something that's absolutely golden, perfect, and you love. That's the only way, though. You've just got to get in there and start working. But I promise you, once you say yes, or once you set a low rate, you are not set. That is not your life forever. It's just your starting point. And everything goes up from that point in time. So consider these uncomfortable truths your stepping stones. And I promise you, things will get better. You will get better. You will learn quickly about the types of industries or people or niche skills that you like. And it's all uphill from there. So you just got to keep going. Hopefully some of these were not too uncomfortable and they were helpful. But I just want to reiterate, if you're new, you absolutely got this. I want you to welcome you to the VA community and remind you that this whole community is so helpful. There is more work to go around for all of us. So if you have any questions about anything, don't be afraid to reach out to people like myself, because we are more than happy to help you along your way.